In one of my previous videos about 6 things every BBSHD equipped bike should have, for those that don't know, that's the 1000-watt mid-drive motor by Bafang. One of the things I mentioned is a shift sensor. This cuts out power to the motor when you're shifting and helps save wear and tear on your drivetrain. So I'm going to show you how to install one of these if you don't have one already.
Bolton e-bikes. If you want an electric bike that's better, then ride along with me and my channel.
So the first thing we need to do is plug this yellow connector in. So we have to find the other end. So thankfully this is something that's already built into the motor. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these 2 screws. There's actually 3, one here, and there's one kind of tucked behind the gear, but you don't quite have to remove that one. If we just get these 2 off, we can rotate this plate out of place. So we'll go ahead and loosen and pull these screws out. And with those 2 out, set those aside, make sure you don't lose them. We should be able to swing the motor plate to the side. So the cable is tucked inside the case here. We have a cable right here that we just need to gently pull out and move out of the way. And then back tucked behind that is the cable. If you look in there, you might be able to see the yellow end. You want to reach in there and pull that guy out as well. And there we go. That's the one that we need. So once again, we're just going to plug in the shift sensor. If you look carefully at this, there's a little notch right here. If you line that up first and then kind of rotate it into place, you can plug that in without bending any of your pins. And we don't need all of this length. The shift sensor is going to go over the shifting cable, and you can follow it back from right here. If you kind of wiggle on this, you can see which one it is. So this really only needs to go to right here. All of the extra cable can be tucked back into the case. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tuck the excess wire back in. So I have all the cables neatly tucked inside, and as you can see, I have just enough length to put this guy here. So now we can swing the plate back over, and we can take our 2 screws and put those back in. Now we're going to take our cutters, and whatever you do, don't cut that yet. We need to take the cable out, otherwise you're going to cut your derailleur cable, and that's not good. Okay, so first thing we need to do is remove that cable like I mentioned. So you will have to clip off or pull off. You can either cut it right towards the end, or if you grab some pliers, you might be able to give this a tight tug and pull it off. We're going to go ahead and clip it off. That way we've got plenty of excess cable left. And then we're going to loosen it from right here. And then we're going to go up by the handlebars, and we're going to pull this cable all the way out so we don't risk cutting it off, because we are going to cut that housing up by the motor in half. Right up by the handlebars, there's something that looks like a Phillips head, and it's actually plastic. So be careful not to over tighten that when you put it back. But if you pull that little cap out, that's where the cable goes in for the shifter. So you can see if we start pushing from down below, that will actually come right out. And like I said, we're going to pull it all the way out just to make sure there's no chance of cutting it. Now that we've pulled our steel cable all the way out, we can go ahead and cut the housing where the shifter cable goes and I'll pop that out of the frame just so you know that that's which one I have. This is not connected to anything. There's nothing inside. Always good to double check. And basically, you have about this much length that we're going to remove out of this cable. So it's best if you have some high quality cutters so you get a nice clean cut out of this. And we check that again, so we're going to cut it right about here. And we're going to take about the thickness of this guy out as well. There we go. Now I have a couple of little cable ferrules that go on the end. That just keeps everything nice and tidy in there. These don't actually come with these shift sensors typically, but I'll try and start including these so that way anybody who buys it from me will get them. So we slip this on there, make sure to push it on there nice and tight on both ends. And if you need to, you can always push the end of this against something hard to make sure you have it on there all the way. And our shift sensor is going to go here, and then we place the other end of the cable in right there. And what this device is going to do, whenever the shift cable moves, it detects that signal, and it has a very precise amount of time that it actually cuts the power to the motor. So the motor's never running when you're shifting, which is going to save, like I said, your drivetrain from a lot of unnecessary wear and tear. And there is a little tiny LED light when your bike turns on and when it shifts, so you can look for that when you first get it connected to know that everything's working. And now we can go ahead and fish our shifter cable back through to the derailleur. And of course, once it's back there, you're going to reconnect it and readjust your derailleur. Now we've got this reconnected, our cable's running through. Now, just to make sure that nothing's getting in the way here and that our sensor's not flopping around, we're just going to put a couple of zip ties and that will finish things off. Now this thing is ready to use. Thanks again for watching another one of my videos. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit that like button, hit the little bell and the subscribe button. That way you not only are subscribed to my channel, but you get notifications when I put new videos out. I will have a more in-depth review on this particular bike in the near future. Just waiting for some of this rain and snow to go away so we can get outside with this thing. But once again, I do appreciate everyone, especially as I'm coming up on 5,000 subscribers. Don't forget, I will be doing another bike giveaway once I hit 10,000.